Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. We have just finished our West African port session as part of our conference here at Breakbulk Middle East, and I have Ronni Nielsen with me from OBT Shipping Group, who was on that panel. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you here in the studio. I'm wondering if you could give us the key takeaways from your session, things that you want our viewers to know.
Yeah, so especially we were three persons up there, and two of them is highly skilled when it comes to development in West and Central Africa as well. Both, I believe, former Maersk persons, so of course highly involved into the container trades and know every movement there. And from my point of view, I think we will say that I will stick with more of the project slash dry bulk sectors, because that was mainly some of the takeaways. So although it was very good for me to have this session as well, and I learned a lot from what I heard in this session. Also, there were some good numbers, but some of the let's say headlines, if I can put it, is of course the focus on what can we do. There's no substitution when it comes to rails. There's a lot of project cargo going into West and Central Africa, or Africa in general.
Okay. Are you, in that region, are you still seeing the port congestion and delays that we're seeing in other parts of the world?
Yeah, so in my point of view, we always have to split it up to create the right awareness of how it works in the ports. And the way that we do that is basically to take one country at a time and one port at a time, right? So for me, it would be like you asked if this is like, how is it in Europe in general, right? And everybody would say, well, it's great because they know everything and it's developed. But in my point of view, it's more like, all right, some countries, the congestion and so on in West Africa is of course a huge topic. Other countries, it's actually managed to work, and especially where you see the container industries has been able to invest a lot of money. They have developed it so fast during the last 10 years. And the congestion is limited when it comes to containers. But we also see, like Hans Ole had a topic right now with the multi-purpose point of view, and what they're doing there is incredible, and they of course want to invest more into this field, and that supports as well when it comes to the mining industry, the energy sector, that all the cargoes that they are moving back and forward to build the infrastructure, well, that's creating opportunities for everybody interested in the breakbulk scene. But it also creates less congestion in the end if we start to focus on these kind of ports. Whereas right now, well, I would say some of the countries, the development of the containers has been very extensive compared to the breakbulk terminals, where it might still be with the port management of each country. And with all due respect, of course, they're doing a good job, but they might not have the same funding as when you see APM terminals are coming in to invest a lot of money, right? So yeah, I would say it's a positive development, but you cannot balance it. If you look at one specific country, you will also see that there might be more population growth. There will be more mouth to feed. There will be more rice vessels. In particularly, you have typically half a year rainy season in many of these countries in West and Central Africa. So of course there will be congestion in these kind of cargoes, right? And if nobody is developing port by port, well, of course you will not see less congestion, right?
Right. No, I understand that. Are you seeing, and again, I understand there can be obviously a range from country to country, a port investment to expand existing ports, and are there also any plans to add new ports?
Yeah, so I think if we look back from the session as well today, it seems like Hans was openly inviting everybody to come talk to him if they needed to figure out something in the future. I will leave that to Hans, of course. But yeah, for sure, I would say that there's a huge attention to the different ports in West Africa. We are not ourselves involved into developing or even investing into the ports itself. We are port agents. We like to help the vessel owners or do the logistics and the inland transportation and so on. But when it comes to companies where Hans is now coming out of APM terminals and now moving into the current company that he works for, well, suddenly you can see that there's another player in the region And now you're not only APMT and Bolloré any longer. You actually have a third one, and you probably have a fourth and a fifth one looking at new projects. We saw quite recently in Conakry that a Turkish terminal operator moved in to take part of the conventional berths in Conakry and took over the concession that was usually operated by the local authorities there. So of course there's a lot of things going on, and I believe we will see more of this because everybody in the end wants to own a bigger piece of the whole value chain.
Absolutely. So looking ahead through 2022, 23, just in general, how would you gauge your sense of optimism, hopefully?
Oh, it's very difficult to say because it's unpredictable, and some of it is tied up to the global economy. Some of it is tied up to pandemic situations where projects that obviously could run off right away could be extended and basically postponed for a few years before they even get started. Or we can also see that the whole situation when it comes into investment for the general publics, well, there's also unfortunately been a delay in the funding in the projects that was supposed to happen back then. But they are moving now, at least, and I think it's positive. I think there's a general trend that you can say is happening right now. And I hope that bringing in these kind of investments quite often also means that there will be more training, there will be more education. You'll see more local content, which I think is very important as well. So it is positive in that sense, and it's very much needed as well. I think everybody would agree to that. If you look at countries where it's been in civil unrest for many years or generations, of course you need to look ahead and say, all right, what do we need to establish here to ensure that this is supporting the infrastructure that everybody is talking about today, right? So that I would say I'm positive, but I also know that it's always difficult because it's tied up from so many external factors.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that was a lot of information, and we appreciate all of that and your perspective. So thank you so much for joining us.